How's it going, everybody? It's Scott here, and I am back with my 2020 What's in My Bag video. I did one of these last year in January, and man, has it changed quite a bit since then. I want to start out by just quickly talking about the bag that I use. This is a BagSmart roll top camera backpack that I got on Amazon. It's very affordable. It's got this very versatile roll top, a couple of pockets in the front. It's got side access. It opens from the back here, which I like, especially if I'm out doing landscape stuff. I don't get my back all dirty. It's got a space for a laptop, a bunch of webbing pockets here. It's got this inner sort of rubber plastic mesh to keep your cameras in. Keep them slightly guarded, I think, from your sweaty back also, just in case. And then I've got it configured currently for air show and wildlife shooting. So I've got a spot in here for my 100 to 400, but this is going to be reconfigured right when I'm done this video because this is my current setup that's going to live in my camera bag for at least the next few months for all the trips that I'm going on. So let's dive into it and have a look at what I carry in my bag in 2020. Okay, I moved everything around so you guys can actually see it. Let's start with the cameras that I take with me, and it's a bit of a mixed bag. So my main camera is still the Fujifilm X-T20, and I know what you're saying. You're saying, Scott, don't you own an X-T30? And you were correct, I do. It is filming me right now, but the reason I don't take that camera out into the field with me is that Q button. I know you can disable it, but I still find myself holding it down for long enough to be an issue. I haven't figured out a way to completely turn it off yet. Like, it's a really, really long press to set it, but I still trigger it every now and then, so it stays here. But it's an awesome camera for the studio setup, so I don't really mind. And then on this camera, this 18 to 55 f2.8 to 4 basically lives on this camera. It's got a little wrist strap on it and an L plate with a nice grip to improve the ergonomics a bit, and then a little hipster red shutter release into the threaded shutter button. Second camera I carry with me, which I'm just seeing the lens is fairly dusty. It's actually got a bit of a scratch on it too. This is the Fujifilm X-A10 with the 27mm f2.8 pancake lens. It's also on an L plate with a grip. Now, I don't use these L plates in a tripod, and I'll talk about that later. I basically just have them on here for the extra grip. As you can see, it gives it a nice chunky grip to hold on to, which is something with Fujifilm cameras that kind of drives me crazy. But this is a backup body, and I use it for if I just need something little to throw in a pants pocket or something. If I don't want to take the X-T20 with me, it's nice to have. It's also got the articulating screen. It's not so great for video, so I don't use it for that. It can't take an external mic, so you know, it is what it is. And a very new addition to my lineup is this Canon M5. Now, I bought this camera for a really, really low price on Black Friday, and I was going to flip this camera and make some money on it. And I ended up liking it so much that I'm going to keep it and sell some other cameras instead. I use this for vlogging. I throw the Rode Video Micro on here, plugs into the side. It's got an articulating screen that flips down to the bottom, which I actually prefer to out to the side or out to the top. You can't really put a tripod on it, but I just sort of hold it out like that, and this 15 to 45 is wide enough to get everything I need in the frame for when I'm vlogging. It's got good autofocus. The video is not the nicest video. It's a little soft for 1080, especially compared to like the X-T20 or the X-T30. Their 1080 is much crisper than this 1080, but I mean, it's good enough for what I do. I am not making actual movies. And then finally, for digital cameras, I'm still using this GoPro Hero 7 Black, which I haven't found a reason to upgrade to the Hero 8 yet. This still does everything I need it to do. I shoot in 2.7K with this at 24 FPS. It does great slow motion. Its stabilization is unbelievably good. And yeah, I haven't found a reason to upgrade yet. So this remains in the bag. That's also what this case is for. This is a GoPro case with a charger, a couple of batteries. Yeah, so that lives in the camera bag as well. For these Fujifilm cameras, I obviously have a charger. This is a dual battery charger, Numoa, that I got on Amazon. It works great. Got a couple of Fujifilm batteries. For the Canon, I've also got a dual battery charger and a couple of aftermarket batteries. The only issue with Canon aftermarket batteries is they have a proprietary chip in the Canon battery, so the aftermarket ones don't actually show you any sort of battery level indicator on the screen. They just sort of die when they die. I haven't had an issue with it yet. They last easily a day of shooting video, which is all I do with that camera, so it's not really an issue for me. I also have the 35mm f1.4 and the XC50-230 telephoto lens for these Fuji cameras. Those are the four lenses that I take with me basically everywhere. And I have a bunch of other lenses, but those are the four that get easily the most use. And yeah, they don't take up a lot of room in the bag either, which is great because I have a lot of other crap here. As far as tripods go, I don't carry a tripod with me when I travel anymore. I don't bring a GorillaPod, I don't bring a big tripod, I don't bring anything other than this little tiny Manfrotto pocket tripod. And this screws into the bottom of your camera, and it's got these three little legs that come out, and you can sit it on a table or sit it on the mailbox or sit it on a newspaper stand or whatever you want, and it works great. It doesn't take up a lot of room in the bag. You can just leave it on the camera, and that's generally what I do. This is one of the best purchases that I've made in a long time. What else do we have here? Let's talk about film cameras, and then we'll get into some of these other accessories around here after. For film cameras, I bring this Nikon F80 with me. It is basically the most modern film camera I have. Full auto exposure, auto load, wind, rewind. Did I say autofocus? Autofocus, auto exposure. I'm probably repeating myself. Really simple to operate. It's got basically a program, fully automatic exposure mode. It's got shutter priority, aperture priority, full manual. It is a great camera, and I've got a 50 f1.8 autofocus lens on that camera. I also bring this Olympus Stylus Epic Zoom 80 Deluxe in gorgeous rose gold with sort of gold jeweled shutter buttons and accents on it. This thing is about as early 90s as it gets. It is, maybe it's late 90s. Anyways, this is a very modern film point and shoot. It takes stunning images for its size. It's very small, it slips into a pocket, and some days I will just have this with me if I don't need to shoot any video. For film, I've got the Japan Camera Hunter 35mm film case. Holds 5 rolls. That's generally enough for me on a trip. I don't shoot film that quickly, so 5 rolls will last me easily a week, sometimes 2. When you travel, obviously you need cleaning cloth, you need lens wipes. I'll usually have a bunch of these Zeiss lens wipes in the camera bag. I've also got this little tech pouch here that has a lens pen, some lens cleaner, some AA and AAA batteries. It has a cell phone SIM card tool on a keychain, which really comes in handy if you're traveling, swapping out SIM cards. If you're in different countries, you don't want to rack up roaming on your home network. And normally this would be filled up with cables. I usually have 2 USB-C and 2 micro USB in here, and that usually does the trick for me. If I bring my iPhone, which I normally don't, I will have a lightning cable in there as well. I've also got this now. This tool here is something that everybody traveling should have, whether they have cameras or not. This is a small rig multi-tool, and it is basically everything you'd need for small rig cages, but it's also just super handy to have. It has Allen keys, flathead screwdriver, Phillips screwdriver, a Torx bit. Basically, this thing takes the place of a multi-tool when I travel because you can't bring a knife in your carry-on, and this doesn't have a blade. So this goes in here, and it's something that I definitely recommend if you're traveling and you need tools. Say you need to take the L plate off of one of these cameras, it definitely makes that a lot easier. I've also got a power bank. This is a 26,000 milliamp hour RAV Power Amazon Special. Yeah, always bring a power bank. I've got this little power station that goes with me everywhere in North America. I have some travel ones for when I travel abroad that has a built-in voltage converter. It's a little bit bigger than this, but I can still fit it in this same setup when I travel. But this is great because it's got 3 plugs, 2 USB outlets at 2.4 amps, which is, you know, not super fast, but it's faster than the little tiny ones that usually come with your phone. This is a variable ND filter that I throw on the X-T20 for video. And what else am I forgetting? Oh, memory. So I've got a Seagate, that is covered in dust. I've got a Seagate 1 terabyte hard drive that I back everything up on, and ThinkTank memory card wallet. This thing has a funny name. What is it? SD Pixel Pocket Rocket. That's what it's called. And that is it. I know I'm forgetting something. Oh, you know what I'm forgetting? Forgetting my laptop that I travel with. One sec. All right, so this is the computer that I travel with. It is a Lenovo T440. It is a workhorse of a laptop. It's very middle of the road specs wise. This is something you would get like for a work laptop, which is essentially what this is. It's got an Intel i5 Pro, so it's the latest processor, 8 gigs of RAM. It's got a small solid state drive, which is nice and fast for editing, but anything bigger I'm going to edit off my external drives anyways. I know you're probably looking at this big pile of gear here and thinking, why do you travel with all this stuff? You could just have like this camera and maybe your laptop and some batteries, and that would be fine. And you know what? Sometimes I do travel that light, and when I do, I definitely use a smaller bag. We'll be talking about this one at some point in the future, but this is what I do. So when I travel, this is all part of it. So I go make content, and then I share it with you guys. So that's why I bring all this gear with me. It's not that prohibitive if you know how to pack it right and how to get through security with the least amount of hassles. That is the key. That's what's in my bag for 2020, at least for the foreseeable future. And my trip to San Diego and Arizona is coming up in about a month, so I'll be shooting an air show there. And I know I should be bringing the 100 to 400 with me for the air show, but because I'm flying on a small regional jet, I want to keep my setup a little bit smaller, so we're going with the 50 to 230, and if I have to crop in later on, I can do that for sure. But yeah, comment below, let me know what kind of bag you guys use or what kind of gear you take with you. If you have any questions about any of this gear that I have, feel free to ask. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video.